Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. We've been trying to get on the air for 2.5 hours. In fact, now it's more like almost 3 hours now we've been trying to get on the air. And we've had problem after problem, both with our software and with YouTube trying to get on the air. We finally did it. Thank you for joining us, guys. We appreciate it. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, what program information you get from us. Also, please check your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube continues to unsubscribe people. And when you subscribe, click on the bell icon to get you notified when we come on the air. Click on the word ALL. Thank you very much. Folks, we're going to get right into this. We're going to dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. We have more important fish to fry here. The first thing we're going to do is talk about earthquakes today. We've had a major earthquake over in Nepal. A major earthquake in Nepal, guys. This is not funny. This is not funny at all. And I'm not saying anybody is saying that. I'm just saying this is a major earthquake in Nepal tonight. Actually, it was about 17 hours ago. Approximately 17 hours ago, this earthquake hit. Folks, this is a 6.4 earthquake, regardless of what anybody says it is. Okay, let me bring this up over here for you. I thought, again, I had everything set up here. Dadgummit. Thought I had everything done. Over here in Nepal, this is in the Himalaya Mountains, guys. This is the edge of the plate. Okay? This is the edge of the plate here. This was a 6.4 earthquake. USGS downgraded to a 5.6. How crappy is that? Over a full magnitude downgrade. Over a full magnitude downgrade. Nearly 2 magnitude downgrade here. A 6.4 earthquake has killed 69 people here in Nepal today. Okay? 69 people have died as a result of this 6.4 earthquake. This is no joke, guys. No joke. This has been a major earthquake. Okay? A major earthquake. Authorities noted that hundreds more people may be injured and numerous houses have been damaged or destroyed in this earthquake. Okay? The country's National Earthquake Measurement Research Center measured it as 6.4. We have been told now it is a 6.9 magnitude earthquake hitting Nepal today. Also hitting over in Greece. Let me show you that earthquake as well. A 5.1 earthquake is hit over in Greece. I want to show you this right here. USGS is only showing one aftershock from the Nepal quake. This is a 5.1 earthquake here north of Athens, Greece, which is the capital of Greece. A 5.1 earthquake hit here today. Okay? It struck 8 kilometers southeast of Prokopi, Greece, at a depth of nearly 11 kilometers. This is near the capital of Athens, Greece. This hit at 8:26 a.m. this morning. A 5.1 earthquake outside of Athens, Greece, approximately 8 kilometers southeast of Prokopi, Greece today. A 5.1 large earthquake. There has been damages. There are some people that have been injured. We don't have any knowledge of any fatalities as of yet, but a 5.1 earthquake hit here in Greece. Most of the time, all we've ever seen here in Greece is 1.1s, 2.2s, 1.7s, 1.8s, and things like that. 1.7s, 1.8s and stuff, those are tremors. 2.0, 2.2 are basically minor earthquakes. This is a 5.1 earthquake here now. Notice they're not showing anything here. There's dozens of earthquakes all around this area. They're not saying anything here. This is a joke. This agency is a joke. You know, I find it appalling. We are in an era where we have access to satellite data. We have access to all kinds of information worldwide 24/7. And USGS can't even report the aftershocks associated with these earthquakes. That's a bunch of crap. Down here also, in the Dokanese Islands down here, this is a 4.5 earthquake. And of course, it's 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? They're not showing any other earthquakes here in Turkey, no other earthquakes here in Europe whatsoever. That is a joke. That is an appalling joke. Okay? I find it deeply disturbing that they show these kind of earthquakes. Okay? They can't even keep up with what's going on here. Okay? Over here, this is Afghanistan. Rundu's, Afghanistan, folks. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake, 31 kilometers deep. Okay? Also, look where it's at. It's on the plate edge here. The Himalaya Mountains go northwest here, and this is where Afghanistan and Tajikistan come into play. The edge of the plate. That's why we have earthquakes here in Afghanistan today. Again, they're not showing everything that's going on. That's appalling. An earthquake that just hit over here in Indonesia. Bitung, Indonesia, guys. Bitung, Indonesia. Central Indonesia. Okay? This is a 4.5 moderate quake. This is 40 kilometers deep. 40.5 kilometers deep. But again, they're still not showing these earthquakes here. That's another reason to be appalled, guys. There's about 20 earthquakes around here in Indonesia today. Going over to Sumatra here, just off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia here, we have a 4.8 here, 40.4 miles deep, 40.4 miles deep here. But they're still not showing everything. Okay, look at this. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely stunning that they don't show what's going on. I am more than appalled. I'm disgraced by an agency of the government that I talk about, a government that I have to work with, and they cannot even show exactly what's going on. It's ridiculous. I want to show you a map here. Give me a second, I'll show you this map. I'll show you what's really going on. Okay? Let me move something here. I want to show you this. Look at this, guys. That's what's really going on here in Indonesia. And over by Australia as well. Let me show you that Australia earthquake. They're not even showing that on the USGS. Okay, look at this. This is not Dampier, Western Australia, northwestern Australia. This is a 3.1 magnitude earthquake over here along the northwest coast of Australia. 3.1. Okay, they're not showing that either. Why not? Why not? Bitung, Indonesia. That's a 4.5 I just showed you. 4.5 that just hit. There's also another earthquake that they're just bringing up here. I want to show you this. This is another one, another 4.5 here. Bitung, Indonesia here. This is insane. This one here is a 4.5 in Maui, Indonesia. Okay, 86 miles deep. Okay, but look at all these earthquakes here. Indonesia going up into the Philippines. Let me show you the Philippines quake. Just off the eastern shore of Mindanao, Philippines. There's a 3.0 right there. Mindanao, Philippines here. We go north. Off the northeast shore, we have another, excuse me, another 4.0 earthquake here off the northeast shore of Mindanao, Philippines. Central Philippines. This is where we had a very large earthquake here yesterday, except it was on shore. Okay, this is offshore today. This is 14 miles east of Dolores, Philippines, a 3.9. That's a 3.9 today. Okay? Why am I showing you all these earthquakes? Because I believe you deserve to know what's going on, especially when this stupid agency of ours refused to talk to anybody about it. Just off the southern coast of Japan, a 3.6 here. Just barely off the southern coast of Japan, a 3.6. Off the west coast of Japan, and again, this is an earthquake that continues to hit these areas, the same area, over and over at least once a week. This is a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.0 earthquake. You guys might have seen me showing you this same place because it's been getting hit at least 3 or 4 times now in the past month. Usually it's on the inside of this island there. It's in that port area there, on the right side of that island there, the east side. This time a 3.0 on the west side of it. Okay? This is Suzu, Ishikawa, Japan. Suzu, Ishikawa, Japan. Okay? There's that. Now, going north. Okay? I want to show you this. Going north. This is Hokkaido, Japan. This area up here is in the Kuril Islands here. The Kuril Islands are all up and down this area here north of Hokkaido, between Hokkaido and Kamchatka Peninsula up here to the north. We have 2 earthquakes there. These are good sized earthquakes. This is a 5.05 earthquake right here. And this one just north of there is also a 5.1 earthquake. A 5.1 earthquake. So 2 large earthquakes just south of the Kamchatka Peninsula today. Okay? Over in Alaska, okay, near Adak, Alaska, not Rat Islands, but near Adak, Alaska, we have a 3.1 right here. 3.1 earthquake there. Going north into Alaska, and again, this is the EMSC, the European agency reporting these earthquakes. There's a lot more earthquakes here in Alaska than what they're showing here. Okay, let me move this map over here so you can see what's going on. Okay, USGS is actually showing more earthquakes than the EMSC is, which is weird. It's really weird. Usually the EMSC shows more. This is a 2.8 over in northern Denali National Park. Okay, a 2.8 in northern Denali National Park. One other earthquake that just happened is a 1.3 near Eureka Roadhouse, Alaska here. Okay, that's what's going on here. Now I want to go over here. This is over in the Aleutian Islands here. This is southeast of Chignik, Alaska. Southeast of Chignik, Alaska. It's a 2.5 earthquake. Further north here, folks, this is just a 2.3 here. 2.3. This is 49 miles east of Chignik here. Also near the volcano, Old Ililama volcano. Look what we have here. More swarms of earthquakes near Old Ililama. There has been some steam here, not today but yesterday. This earthquake, or this earthquake. These volcanoes are steaming. Okay? With all these tremors here, they're definitely steaming. This, you know, I hate even showing this. USGS has this as a 0.0 surface quake. Folks, this is not a surface quake. This is 7/10 of a mile deep inside the volcano. It's not a 0.0 surface quake at all. This is 7/10 of a mile deep. USGS lies to us over and over and over. It's not even funny anymore. It's beyond stupid. Okay? Going up here north. Salmatov, Alaska. This is just south of Redoubt, Alaska. Redoubt is the volcano. Mount Redoubt is the volcano. Going north here, Tynek, Alaska, a 1.0 tremor here. Okay? The only earthquakes we even have here of any sustenance here. Okay? This is northeast of Anchorage. Northwest of Anchorage. Anchorage is right here. This is Anchorage, the capital of Alaska, right here. Okay? This nearest earthquake here is a 1.5 near Big Lake, Alaska. Okay? Just west of Big Lake, Alaska. Okay? That's about all. That's really just about all we have. We have no earthquakes above the Arctic Circle here in Alaska today. None. Okay? Not a one. Now there's something else that I want to show you. Okay? This is over on the Big Island of Hawaii and north of the Big Island of Hawaii. Okay? Let me first go over here. I want to show you what's happening here. Okay? Pahala. Remember me telling you that Pahala is like a service station here that is putting magma or sending magma from the way deep in the South Pacific Ocean? It comes up here. Pahala acts as a service station, sending magma to the different volcanoes around the island. Here, this red earthquake just happened here. This is a 2.8 earthquake in Pahala. Pahala is like the gas station, the service station, okay? That is a 2.8, maybe even a 3.0 earthquake. Okay? We see 0.9 anything, we consider it one magnitude higher than that, because these USGS people have no brains at all. Okay? Here's a 2.3 here. A good sized swarm of earthquakes, 1.5 here. This is a 2.0 and a 1.8 here. We go north. I'm not going to show every earthquake here. We go north here is a 2.0. This is a 2.2 here. You can see what I'm showing you here. Okay? Off the coast of the Big Island here. Folks, this is near an undersea mount volcano. An undersea mount volcano right here. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. That undersea mount volcano occasionally gets hit. Today got hit. Okay? Most of these earthquakes, as you know, usually filter up here to Kilauea. Right here to Kilauea. Just east of Kilauea here. Just east of Kilauea we have a 2.1 earthquake here. And we also have a 1.7 tremor here. Okay? Now, I want to back off here and show you something. There are no other earthquakes either in Fern Forest or Leilani Estates, which are east and north of Kilauea. Leilani Estates is up here in the southeast or northeast Rift Zone. Okay? Fern Forest is down here, where you see all this hardened lava here. All this gray lava here is Fern Forest. Okay? We don't see anything here at all. Fern Forest and Leilani Estates is where we had the 24 fissures that opened up when Pu'u'o'o volcano and Kilauea drained out back in 2019, 4 years ago. Okay? Today, this earthquake is over on the eastern slope of Mauna Loa. This is a 2.1 earthquake. Look what's happening at Mauna Loa. We have a swarm of earthquakes again at Mauna Loa. I believe Mauna Loa should have been, the alert level should have been dropped to, excuse me, not dropped, but raised to an advisory yellow level. Okay? All these tremors here should be indicative of magma hitting this volcano. Earthquakes are always indicative of magma hitting the volcano, and that's what's happening here. Look at all these earthquakes. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 earthquakes here at Mauna Loa today. That's a big deal. That's a big sign that this volcano is not finished erupting. It kind of finished erupting, fizzled out after about 2 or 3 days, about 3 months ago. Now it's getting hit again. Okay? This is visual signs of this volcano possibly going to erupt again. Now, more so, going up here to the north, this is Mauna Kea. You don't see anything happening here at Mauna Kea. Usually when we have that many earthquakes at Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea has just as many or more. Okay? Now, if I'm right, I will come here tomorrow and show you the seismograms coming from Mauna Kea and show you what's going on. But I believe there's just as many earthquakes hitting Mauna Kea as there is Mauna Loa. That's usually the case. Okay? One other volcano here on the Big Island I need to talk about. This is Hualalai volcano. Hualalai volcano is right here. There are some seismic events here, but nothing as strong as Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. Okay? There are tiny tremors basically hitting here at Hualalai, but not that much going on here at Hualalai. It's all going on right now at Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, and over here in Pahala today. Okay? That's what's happening there. Okay, now I wanted to show you that to make a point. Okay? USGS is not telling us squat about what's going on here in southern Mexico. There's about 24 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. Okay? Down here in Central America. Okay, this is a 4.4 near Ixtapa, Guatemala. Okay, this is the same location where we had a 5.1 earthquake here yesterday. Now we're having a 4.4 aftershock in this same area here near Ixtapa, Guatemala. This is 31.5 kilometers, or 31.5 miles deep here. Okay, over here in Puerto Rico. Okay, I want just briefly to show you what's going on here. Over here in southwestern Puerto Rico, these are aftershocks of 2 very major earthquakes that happened here 4 years ago. Okay, this is a 2.4 earthquake here. This is a 3.1 here. Right next to it is a 2.7. These 2 earthquakes are near Guanica, Puerto Rico. This earthquake is also a result of those 2 major earthquakes that hit here, an 8.0 and 8.4 that hit December 26th and December 28th, 2019. Okay, so earthquakes continue hitting there. Over here, northeast of Puerto Rico. Okay, this is Charlotte Amalia, U.S. Virgin Islands. This is a 3.4 earthquake that hit 47 miles northwest of Charlotte Amalia, Puerto Rico. Beautiful area. This is 76 miles deep. That's a pretty darn deep earthquake here. It's down in the asthenosphere where the plastic magma is. Okay? Let's go over here to the pneumatic seismic zone. Okay, this is Perryville, Arkansas. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. We have 2.0, we have 3.5. I believe we even have a 4.0 here that USGS is not talking about. Okay? A 4.0 over here in Arkansas today. Okay? They're not talking about it. Why not? Sissies? Yeah. Pretty much. Okay? Over here in Oklahoma, a 1.1 tremor here. This is a 1.5 tremor. Oklahoma has 586,000 pumps and jacks pumping oil and gas out of the ground here. That's why we have these earthquakes here today. Okay? These are oil and gas quakes here. Southwestern Texas, the same thing. Look at the swarm of earthquakes here now. Okay? I want to show you this. This is Toyah, Texas. This is a bigger swarm of earthquakes than we've had here in Toyah, Texas, at least as long as I know. Okay? Look at this. That's a 1.6 here. This is a 2.3. Mentone, Texas. This is a 2.0. This is a 1.9, 2.0. This is a 1.7. This is a 1.7. Okay? I didn't show you this. This is a 1.8. Folks, this is oil and gas. Every one of these earthquakes are in an oil and gas field. Every one of these blocks on the ground are a result of oil and gas drilling. Whether or not there's any oil and gas pumping rigs right now on these individual plots. Some of them have exhausted their oil. They're no longer pumping out of it. That does not mean that the seismic energy is not going to hit it. Every drill point, every place where they put a drill opened up a man-made earthquake fault. Okay, look at this. You can see the pumps and jacks on this pad here. Not far from it, we have an earthquake here. Multiple earthquakes. That's the case everywhere. Look at this swarm here. There are pumps and jacks all over this area here. Okay? Pumps and jacks everywhere. Now I can't zoom in any further, any closer to this, but this is what's happening here. These are all oil and gas pumping operations. Okay? So we have a good sized swarm over here in Toyah, Texas and Mentone, Texas today. That's the biggest swarm I've seen there. Okay? Going over here, this is, they say this is White City, New Mexico. It's not. This is just western Texas. Western Texas. Okay? There's a 1.5 there. There's a 1.6 there. Down here is Van Horn, Texas. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. All these earthquakes are due to oil and gas pumping operations here. Okay? Huge swarm of earthquakes down here in southwestern Texas today. Okay? We go over here to Southern California. Okay? Look at these earthquakes over here. Okay? South of the border. Okay? I'm coming down here west of Delta, Mexico. Why? Okay? Look where these earthquakes are. Okay? This is a 2.0. This is a 2.1. Up here to the north, this is a 1.5. What do we have in common with this region? What do we have in common with this region? This one up here is in Heber, California, in the Imperial Valley, just on the north side of the Mexico-US border. These down here are something different. Okay? Where's this earthquake right here? What do you think this is? This is another geothermal operation. Another geothermal operation. Why? Man has drilled into this volcano here. Right here. This is Cerro Prado volcano down here in Mexico, northern Mexico. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano here. And guess what? Every drill point here is getting hit with seismic energy. Seismic energy seeks out these man-made or natural earthquake faults. And when it hits, when the seismic energy hits, it fractures a rock at these earthquake faults. This is a 2.4 here. This is a 2.1 here. They get hit. Over here is a different story. A slightly different story. Folks, this is a magmatic area, a vulcanized area. Okay? Magma has been down here beneath the surface here in southern Baja, California, all over this area. Okay? I'm going to zoom in here. Just south and west of that earthquake. It's a 2.0. What do we see here? This is an area where we've had magma come up, pushed up to the surface, not breaking the surface. Magma not breaking the surface here. This is all over Mexico. This happens all over Mexico, especially here in Baja California. Magma raising up and not breaking the surface. In fact, let me look at where this earthquake is right here. No, that's not the case, but right next to it is. Okay? Awaken says here in the chat saying apparent Christian Casual has to unsub and resub because YouTube messed with her. And Awaken saying I wasn't either. I have to unsub and then sub again. It doesn't matter. If you want to be notified when we come on this program, that's usually the case. You have to unsub and resub and then hit the little bell icon in order to be notified when we come on the air. USGS messes with us badly. Messes with all of you as well. That's so sad. That's so sad. Anyway, guys, that's why we have these earthquakes here in Mexico here. It's happening all over. Okay? Just west of the Salton Sea. Ocotillo Wells here. This is a 1.2 tremor here. North and west of there, Borrego Springs got hit as well. This is a 1.2 tremor here. Up here on the top of the mountain here, 1.1 also in Borrego Springs here. A new earthquake here. This red earthquake hit here, Palomar Observatory. Palomar Mountain here. Okay? This is a 1.2 tremor and it's on the Elsinore Fault. Look at all these earthquakes here on the Elsinore Fault. Just south of Palomar Mountain is Lake Henshaw, northeast of Escondido. This is a 2.0 earthquake here, near Lake Henshaw. This is, like I said, and Laura Marie used to live over here in Poway, near where I live. Okay, we all know where this is. Laura's probably been here as well. I used to fish Lake Henshaw. Okay. This is a 0.3 microquake here at Lake Henshaw. South of that is Julian. Julian is where you get the hot apple pie. For those of you in California right now, it's a little bit late to be going to Julian. It's about 6 o'clock p.m. in California. You can go up here tomorrow. Okay? Go up here at noon, have a sandwich or two, and have a hot plate of apple pie and maybe even have some hot apple cider here in Julian, California. Julian's a great place, guys. They grow apples all over the Julian Mountains here, so you can have hot apple pie and apple cider all day long. They have bed and breakfast, okay? A great place to sit out, and we haven't had a major earthquake. All we have is tremors around here. Okay, this is 0.7 microquake. This is a 0.7 microquake, or 0.07 microquake. Okay, we have not had any big stuff here at all. We occasionally get a 2.2, 2.3, but that's about it. Okay, but Julian is a great place for apple pie for a day out in the mountains of San Diego County, East San Diego County. Okay. Again, a 1.2 tremor here at Palomar Mountain, just northeast of Escondido, East San Diego County. Okay, a 1.5 near San Jacinto, southeast of San Jacinto. I spent a long time up here. San Jacinto is a great place. San Jacinto Mountain's a great place to hike. San Gregorio Mountain, I've also been on top of, a great place to be as well. Over here, Cabazon. Again, Cabazon out here, folks, is part of the Anza Gap. Part of the Anza Gap. It's got a 0.5 microquake here as well. Here's a 1.3 also near Cabazon. Okay, this is 7 miles northeast of Cabazon here. We have earthquakes all over Southern California. Half the time, they don't even put them up here. Over here, okay, almost always we have tremors and earthquakes over here. Almost always. This is Home Gardens, California. Home Gardens, California. Guys, this quake is nowhere near a quarry. They're calling this a quarry blast. Okay? This is probably a mile away from the quarry. A mile east of the quarry. This is a quarter of a mile deep. I have no idea that the people that own that quarry there are even mining up here in the mountains. I doubt it. I believe this is a tremor, 1.7 tremor here in the mountains here in Home Gardens, California. Okay? That's usually the case. Rarely is it ever a quarry blast. Okay? That's what's going on there. Up here to the north, this is Loma Linda. Loma Linda. Loma Linda, California is home to the Loma Linda Medical Center, world-renowned Loma Linda Medical Center. The medical center is right up here. Okay, that's the medical center. Right down here is where this 0.9, 1.0 tremor happened here, Loma Linda, California. Okay, right underneath. Okay, right underneath these businesses here in Loma Linda. Okay, that's what's going on in Los Angeles area. Okay, up here north and west of Los Angeles, we need to keep an eye on this again. A few weeks ago we had a 5.1 earthquake over here in Aveyah, California. Today, this is a 1.9, 2.0 minor earthquake, aftershock. An aftershock of a 4.0 earthquake that hit here earlier today. Okay? It hit here earlier today. This happened at approximately 4:12 p.m. this afternoon. 4:12 p.m. this afternoon, a 4.0 earthquake here in Aveyah, California. This may be a signal that this is going to happen again. Okay? A 5.1 earthquake a few weeks ago shook people up. There was some property damage. Nobody hurt, nobody injured. However, this may be indicative of a much larger earthquake that's coming here. We're going to have to keep an eye on Aveyah, California. Okay? All of you are wondering what's going on? That's it. Keep an eye on Aveyah. Michael McKinney says, I'm in North Hollywood, so thank you, Ron. Michael, I pray for you guys in Southern California. It's rocking and rolling over there. You guys sometimes can feel it. Many times you guys can feel it. And it's eerie when your world is being rocked around and you have no clue what's happening or what's going to happen. That's the real issue. What is going to happen? Okay? Going eastbound, northeastbound here. Now we're going up into the Mojave Desert. The Mojave Desert. This earthquake is in Ridgecrest, a 1.0 tremor here in Ridgecrest, California. Okay? Northeast here. We have a small swarm of earthquakes here. Okay? Folks, this is Cyril's Valley. Cyril's Valley. This is a 2.7 earthquake here. 2.7 minor earthquake here. Here's a 1.3. Here is a 0.4. These are minor aftershocks from what's going on here. Now again, when we see a good sized swarm of earthquakes, which this basically is, it's just a small swarm. But when we see these things happen, you've got to ask yourself, what is going to happen here? What's going to happen? You have a 2.7, and you also have a bunch of other minor tremors and microquakes here. This might be indicative that something's happening here. We're going to have to wait and see here. Again, this is the Mojave Desert. Anything can happen here in the Mojave Desert. We go north. Okay? This is Little Lake, California. Okay, we have not seen this many swarms here. This is a small swarm here. This is a 1.5 here. This is 0.8. This is 0.5. And this is a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Swarms of earthquakes in the Mojave Desert here. We'll see what happens. Something bigger may be coming. Let's watch and see. Okay? Keep our eyes peeled. Along the coast of California, north coast of California, what's going on here? Okay? Over here. Okay? This is Tres Pinos. This is just east of the San Andreas Fault. This could be part of the Hayward Fault. A 2.3 earthquake here in Tres Pinos today. We go further north. San Francisco. San Leandro, California. A 2.0 earthquake here in San Leandro, California. Wonderful place. We go north. Folks, this is the geysers. This is just barely, this I believe is still in Sonoma County, California. Sonoma County, California. This is Middletown, California, a 1.2 tremor. Then all of a sudden we get over here. All these swarms here, these are the geysers. This is a geothermal operation here, guys. A geothermal operation. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of that lake's volcano. That lake is a volcano. It's called Clear Lake Volcano. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of this lake, this volcano, to obtain steam to generate electricity here for California Gas and Electric and 4 other conglomerates, including Rocky Mountain Power in Utah. Okay? They pulled electricity out of this volcano basically. Pulled steam to power turbines to generate electricity here in the geysers area here. That's why we've had so many earthquakes here. Again, seismic energy hitting the drill points, causing rock fracturing. There's usually about 20 to 25 earthquakes here every day. Okay? North of the Clear Lake volcano. This is Talmadge, California. Occasionally, Talmadge gets hit. Today, a 1.5 tremor here in Talmadge, California. Nobody even probably felt that. Okay? Way north up here. Way north up here. Hay Fork, California. Okay? Hay Fork, California. Okay? A 2.1 minor earthquake. 2.1 minor earthquake. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Now I'm going to take this map down and reboot it because the agency doesn't like us. They hate me talking about earthquakes. But that's too bad for them. I really don't care what USGS likes or doesn't like. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Okay? Up here in Iceland, I forgot to mention this. Over here on this peninsula here, this is Vogar, Iceland. This is a moderate 4.6 earthquake. Why did we get it? Notice where this earthquake is. It's on the Atlantic fault here, the mid-Atlantic fault. This is where the Atlantic plate is expanding. Okay, the mid-Atlantic fault here is expanding out here in the middle of the fault. The west side of the Atlantic plate here, it's a huge plate, a tectonic plate. On the west side of the fault, it's pushing the North American continent in a south-southwesterly direction. Okay, over here on the east side, it's pushing Europe in a easterly, southeasterly direction. Okay, that's what this fault is doing. Today, we have a 4.6 earthquake here in southern Iceland. Not too surprising. People felt it. It was on land here. It was on land. Okay? Going over here into the United States again. If it will let us. It's hesitating. It's hesitating, go figure. Okay, we have no earthquakes here in the southern Cascadia subduction zone region. Nothing significant in the Southern California, or not Southern California, Northern California Cascadia subduction zone region. Okay? Nothing significant. We go up here into the Pacific Northwest. What do we have? Guess what? USBS is actually showing some seismic activity here at Mount Hood. Right down the throat of Mount Hood. Okay? This is a 1.2 tremor. This is 1/4 of a mile deep. 1/4 of a mile deep down here at Mount Hood. Right beneath the plug of the volcano. Okay? That means there's magma down there, right beneath the plug. Okay? About 1,000 feet down. Not bad for a volcano, huh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Considering the volcano there is about 5,600 feet high. I don't know the exact height of Mount Hood. I don't have those numbers right at my fingertips. But it's there, guys. 1,000 feet down from the summit, we have magma fracturing rock, causing earth movement, earthquake. We go north here. Okay, this one they say is 24 miles northeast of Amboy, Washington. What do you think it is? Folks, it's not anywhere near Amboy, Washington. Again, this is Mount St. Helens, guys. Mount St. Helens. Again, Mount St. Helens has had over 125, probably closer to 150 earthquakes within the last 30 days. And this counts. This counts. Here at the summit, this is a 0.1 microquake here. This is a 0.1 microquake here. This is a 0.3 microquake. This is a 0.7 microquake. Over here on the north side of Mount St. Helens, guys, this is still up near the summit. This is a 0.3. Over here on the west, the upper west flank of Mount St. Helens, guys, this is 0.4. Mount St. Helens is getting ready to erupt. That's why we keep having these tremors and earthquakes here. Mount St. Helens is getting ready to erupt. And I'm sure, folks, if I went here and showed you the seismograms here at Mount St. Helens again today, it would be a lot more than just tremors and microquakes. We'd actually have full-blown earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens. But of course, they're not going to tell us that, are they? Just south of Mount Rainier. Okay? This is a 1.0 tremor. Now, why are we not seeing anything at Mount Rainier? Mount Rainier is having earthquakes as well. A lot of earthquakes. A week and a half ago, it had a 5.0 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. Of course, USGS did not say anything about it. A 5.0 large earthquake at Mount Rainier. We showed you it on the seismogram. They tried to cover it up. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Now we go up here to the Puget Sound area. This is the edge of the Juan de Fuca, or Strait of Juan de Fuca here. Okay? Port Angeles, Washington. A 1.6 tremor here. Now, why? Because, folks, the Cascadia subduction zone region is busy. This is the north side of the Cascadia subduction zone region. That's why we've had this tremor here today. But it's not the only one. If I showed you seismograms from here, there'd be dozens of seismic events happening. Dozens of them. They just don't tell us about it. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. Okay? Up north here. This is Everson, Washington. A 1.1 tremor here. Everson, Washington, a 1.1 tremor here. It's moving. This whole area is moving. Okay, I just want to go over here really quick. This is the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. Challis, Idaho, Stanley, Idaho area. Okay, this is a 2.6 earthquake here. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Right next to it is a 1.7 tremor here. Now, folks, besides it being the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber, there are also earthquake faults here as well. That contributes, those faults also contribute to the earthquakes here as well. Okay? But this is the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber is 11 Grand Canyons in size. 11 Grand Canyons in size. Over here, Jackson, Wyoming. Jackson, Wyoming. This is a 0.5 microquake here. Why is this important? Because, folks, there's a great big huge park here. A great big huge park that's right next to Jackson, Wyoming. There's actually two parks. One of them is Yellowstone. Okay? One of them is Yellowstone. Guess where we're going now? We're going up to Yellowstone, guys. Up to Yellowstone. This is right next to Big Thumb, Yellowstone Lake. This is a 1.7 tremor here. A 1.7 tremor. This is Yellowstone. Don't let anybody fool you. This is Yellowstone. And this is not the only earthquake here. There are dozens of others. They just don't put them here. One day I'm going to cover nothing but Yellowstone, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. The Utah University of Utah Seismological Center covers these earthquakes. And I'm going to show you dozens of earthquakes all over this region. USGS almost says nothing. Going north here, this is Butte, Montana. A 2.0 earthquake here at Butte, Montana. USGS is calling it a quarry blast. Well, guess what? It is indeed in a quarry, so this must be a quarry blast in a quarry near Butte, Montana. Well, glory be. Finally, USGS is right about something. A 2.0 earthquake, 1.2 miles deep. USGS does not blast, or not USGS, but the quarries don't blast 2 miles deep. Okay? This is 1.2 miles deep. They don't blast that far either. This is not a quarry blast. This isn't a quarry blast. This is a 2.0 earthquake at a quarry. Maybe the rock is fractured here. Maybe the rock is fractured, and that's why the seismic energy hit here and fractured it even more. Okay? Yes, USGS could be right. It's at a quarry at least. Okay? Further north, this is a 0.9 microquake up here. This is southeast of Lincoln, Montana. Southeast of Lincoln, Montana. This is still in the Yellowstone magma chamber area. This is still in the Yellowstone magma chamber area. Okay? Now, let me see if I can zoom in here close enough. I might be able to show you fallen trees up here. I can get on my Google Earth and I can see fallen trees all over here. Why do you think we have fallen trees up here? Why do you think we'd have fallen trees up here in Montana, guys? Can you tell me toxic gases? Sulfur dioxide? Carbon dioxide? Yes, guys, that's exactly what happens here. 0.9 microquake up here in Lincoln, Montana. This earthquake happened 5.1 miles deep. 5.1 miles deep. Okay? Lena Velcano says going to watch later. She has family there. That's great. Thank you for being here, Lena. We appreciate it, though. Okay? We really do. And I understand we came on really late, too, and I'm sorry about that. We had problems with YouTube. We had problems with our software. It just was not... We had to try to get on here 4 different times before we finally got on here. It's one of those things. Okay? Oh, we had a brand new earthquake here in the center of the country. Look at this. Benton, Kansas. Bennington, Kansas, guys. A 3.4 earthquake here. Let's zoom in there and see what we have here, if anything. Okay? I've never been here in Bennington, Kansas. I've never even seen it up here before. Let's see what we got. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. It looks like we might even have This is a 3.4 earthquake. Let me bring it up on my software here on my phone, on my device, just for kicks and giggles. See if it shows up here. It probably does. Bingo, bango, boingo. It showed up on my device here. Let's zoom in here on my device and see what we see here. Well, folks, I do not see any. I don't see any pumps and jacks here. I don't see any pumps and jacks at all. And yet there is the earthquake. There's the earthquake. Now, folks, let's look at something here. Okay. I'm just looking really quick. I don't see any rivers necessarily. I don't see any rivers at all. That's where the earthquake is, though, guys. I don't see any pumps and jacks. There's a good sized home right there, just to the southeast of that quake. Probably not more than a couple hundred yards from that quake. Good sized house there. And it looks to be another good sized house there and one south there. But no pumps and jacks. This is probably just a seismic event here in Kansas. It does happen. Usually when we see a river, the rivers are usually an earthquake fault, a seismic fault beneath the water. That's why the water flows down through there, usually a fault. In this case, I don't see that. The actual river is further east from where that earthquake is, so I don't believe that has anything to do with a fault being over there. It could be. It could be. But we have a 3.4 earthquake over there in Kansas this evening. Okay? Let's get through here talking about earthquakes for a few minutes. I have a few things I need to discuss with you. Okay? The first thing I want to discuss is something that happened in South Carolina, just south of me. Okay? There's a nuclear plant that was paid a visit by a bad guy. This nuclear plant in South Carolina was paid a visit by a bad guy last night. The bad guy ran his car into a fence here at the Oconee nuclear power station shortly after 8 p.m. last night. Okay? Now, the man is driving a silver Toyota Camry, and he drove his Camry through the exit side of the facility's gate, which faces a state highway. The nuclear station is owned and operated by Duke Energy. It's located on Lake Keowee, Keowee, Lake Keowee, and it has 3 nuclear reactors. It's protected 24/7 by armed security people, access controls and intrusion detection and monitoring equipment as well. The plant is operating safely and no one was injured, according to authorities. A vehicle entered the administrative gate was not allowed and able to access the plant due to multiple layers of security. Ballards that poke up out of the ground and are lowered by security to allow authorized personnel into the plant. The bollards poked out of the pavement, preventing this guy from accessing the plant. This is according to Michaela Kreuzberger, who's a spokesman for the plant. Advanced surveillance equipment and physical intrusion barriers consisting of the concrete structures and razor wires surrounding the entire site. Security at the plant activated when the vehicle struck one of the pop-up bollards, the barricades, at the facility. The driver put the vehicle in reverse and proceeded down a dirt road where Duke Energy security blocked the vehicle in. And sheriff's people were notified. Deputies were notified. The suspect then got through a fence, damaging the fence, attempting to hit security officers in a security truck with the guard inside. Then the man exited the plant back onto the nearby highway. That's what happened. Okay? He's driving a 2002 silver Camry similar to this. The man's name is Doyle Wyson. Doyle Wyson. Okay? This man is now a wanted felon. Okay? He drove into Pickens County and pulled onto some property on Jones Mill Road where shots were fired, according to the statement by Oconee County Sheriff's Office. At this time, the source of the shots fired in the Jones Mill Road area is unknown. Authorities said they are in the early stages of the investigation. They're looking for a white male suspect driving a silver 2002 Toyota Camry with an Arkansas tag of 380 VDR, 380 Victor David Robert. The same vehicle and driver also showed up on the property of the nuclear power station an hour before the incident occurred, but drove off after being asked to leave, according to the Sheriff's Office. South Carolina has 4 nuclear power plants and generates 50% of its electricity from nuclear power. The Oconee County Sheriff Mike Crenshaw named Doyle Wayne Weissenhunt, 66, of Locksburg, Arkansas, as a suspect this afternoon. He's a person of interest, a suspect, in trying to enter the power station illegally and possibly being involved in the shots fired area. If you see Mr. Weissenhunt, please call 911 immediately. Please call 911 immediately. Okay? That's all about that particular story. Now, folks, there's more. There's actually a lot more. I want to talk about Israel now. I want to talk about what's going on there that could be a danger to the United States. Folks, there's a lot of things going on in our country and all over the world. And all of you and all of us need to be aware of it. Please share this information far and wide. All across the United States and around the world. This information has to get out. Iran is on the move. Iran has called for war against the United States. Hezbollah's speech is ongoing. Remember from the start, I talked about Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed terrorist squad. It's one of the big ones to watch in this. Today they've gone public for the first time. Hezbollah has actually gone public for the first time in a speech. that was watched around the world. Here are the key points from the Hezbollah speech. The Battle of the Al-Qasah. The Battle of the Al-Qasah flood has extended to more than one front, an area as Nasrallah congratulates Iraq and Yemen for entering the war. The leader of the Hezbollah is said to explain the situation and their position on the Gaza war. They say the Israeli government has set high goals, but they cannot achieve it. America is fully responsible for the war, according to Hezbollah. America is fully responsible for the war in Gaza, and Israel just a tool. America is the one who's stopping a ceasefire in the United Nations. No, it's not. America is not the one that's stopping the ceasefire. There isn't one nation around the world that is voting for a ceasefire. Hezbollah wants to blame it on the United States. It has nothing to do with the U.S. They say Americans are the ones managing the war in Gaza, and they should pay the price. Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah says the U.S. is completely responsible for the war in Gaza. Nasrallah says the decision of the Islamic resistance in Iraq to attack the American occupation bases in Iraq and Syria is a wise, correct, and blessed decision. This war is not like the previous wars. This is a decisive, historic conflict. What comes after it will not be like what was before. America must be held accountable for its crimes and massacres against peoples. Further steps will be taken against Israel from very different fronts, and this will be the more apparent in the next few days. Even if you call our actions limited so far, it certainly will not say what you call limited, and what is happening now is unprecedented. Nasrallah was going on saying, "We are prepared to enter a wider war on the Lebanese front. America has sent us messages that they will bomb Iran if we continue. How dare you threaten our resistance? Your ships in the Mediterranean don't scare us. We have made preparations for American ships, and we ask America to remember their defeats in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. I assure the Americans, in case of regional war, their ships and their air force will pay a heavy price. They have directly called the United States. It seems they are declaring war on the United States. How will America respond?" As everyone knows, the President of the United States has sounded weak. He is weak. He's old. He's suffering from dementia. His cognitive existence is very nil or none at all. It's his administration that is calling the shots. We're weak. Biden's very weak. We all, every one of us here, every one of us around the world, need to watch for attacks on U.S. and Western targets. Watch for attacks on U.S. targets in the Middle East. False flag. Watch also in the United States and all over the world. Israel and Netanyahu now. Okay? Nasrallah from Hezbollah says, "I say to our enemy to the north, don't make a mistake about us. A mistake will cost you dearly that you cannot even imagine." Okay? That's what Nasrallah, the Hezbollah, has told us. Iran has called for war on the United States. In the next few days, we'll see decisions made by Hezbollah. which is an Iran proxy. If Iran sends missiles north, they probably will be intercepted. And at that point, the United States government, the military, will pay a heavy price all over Iran. And then Russia will enter the war. Okay? This is crazy. Bob is here in the chat saying people have lost their minds. I agree. They have. Now, I want to talk now about American citizens that have been trapped in Gaza for nearly a month. In an already well-established pattern of disgrace, the Biden administration has once again allowed numerous U.S. citizens to get trapped in a foreign war, in a war zone. As of first, Americans have only now left the Gaza Strip almost a month after Palestinian terrorists and Hamas attacked Israel. Dozens of Americans and Israel citizens have been killed, massacred. 1,400 Israelis have been massacred. Dozens of American citizens have also been massacred. Even more American citizens down in southern Israel have been kidnapped and taken into Gaza. Only 2 of them have been released, an elderly woman and her caretaker. On October 7th, 2 Palestinian terrorist groups, Hamas and Islamic Jihad, invaded U.S. ally Israel from the tiny overcrowded enclave of Gaza, which they have controlled since 2005. The terrorists have massacred over 1,400 Israeli and foreign citizens, including, like I said, nearly 36 Americans. In a new development Wednesday this week, troops overseeing the Rafah border, the crossing between Israel and the Gaza Strip, commenced allowing critically ill individuals and foreign passport holders to depart Gaza. This move, happening for the first time on Wednesday, comes amidst a situation where hundreds of American citizens are still in the Hamas-governed region of Gaza. Hamas's unexpected invasion of Israel on October 7th kept 500 American nationals stranded in Gaza. President Joe Biden, highlighting the efforts of the United States in this crisis, announced Wednesday, November 1st, that the evacuation of foreigners from Gaza had already started. Today, thanks to American leadership, we secured safe passage for wounded Palestinians and foreign nationals to exit Gaza. We expect American citizens to exit today, and we expect to see more depart over the coming days. We won't let up working to get Americans out of Gaza, Biden declared. Now, an international press organization called Reuters projected that nearly 600 international travelers would utilize the border crossing just on Wednesday alone. 600 international travelers have gone into Egypt on Wednesday. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters that a handful of Americans were anticipated among that group. A handful of Americans. Meaning several hundred Americans are still left stranded in Gaza. This is the first step in what the United States considers to be a multi-step process that's unfolding in the coming days. Further confirmation of that departure, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller acknowledged that American passport holders have successfully departed from Gaza. There are a number of American citizens who have passed through the Rafah border crossing and are now in Egypt. Miller told reporters, declining to specify the number of individuals involved. Earlier this week, the State Department said that U.S. citizens in Gaza via email that passport holders might anticipate limited departures from Gaza that may begin this week. Additionally, it was mentioned that border crossings would likely continue into the foreseeable future if Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran allow that. Again, there is a jihad against American citizens. And they have American citizens hostage in the Gaza Strip. Now, we've reported on a lot of incidents that happened on January 6th. We've reported on Democrat communist lawmakers that have caused problems in Washington, D.C. Recently, we talked about Rashid Tlaib, the United States Congresswoman, who is a citizen of Gaza, a citizen of Palestine. She even had a Palestine flag outside her office in the Capitol building until her fellow congressman made her take it down, saying it was not authorized to be in a federal building. The congressional offices are a federal building, and she was not authorized to keep it there. Rashid Tlaib and a bunch of Palestinian refugees came onto the Capitol grounds and held a protest there a week and a half ago. An insurrection. She and Ilhan Omar, also a congresswoman from Michigan, actually Ilhan Omar is from Minnesota. Rashid Tlaib is from Michigan. They came and led that huge insurrection on the Capitol grounds. Then they led the terrorists. They led the terrorists inside the Capitol building into the Rotunda area. 300 terrorists were arrested by Capitol Police. Okay? 300 terrorists. This week, Rashid Tlaib was held to account, or had some part of Congress hold her to account for the insurrection. There was a resolution that was not passed. It was not passed because Democrat, communist, and conservative people voted against passing the resolution that would have held her to account for her participation in the insurrection. They go after Donald Trump. They indicted Donald Trump twice, saying he led an insurrection, which he did not. That was more than anything a peaceful entrance into the Capitol. These people that Rashid Tlaib led into the Capitol were terrorists, and they refused to leave. They were chanting Allahu Akbar inside our Capitol building. Terrorists. 300 had to be arrested. Then Capitol Police got people out of there. Not before they had to arrest 300 of them. Rashid Tlaib got off scot-free for participating in an insurrection. There's someone else that has to be held accountable. Okay? He did something else. Another United States congressman. Another United States congressman. This man His name is Jamal Bowman. Wednesday, he was arrested by Capitol Police. Finally. He pulled a fire alarm just a couple weeks ago to delay a House of Representatives vote. To delay the House vote. Just as congressional Democrats were maneuvering to delay a vote on a last-minute spending bill, midday on September 30th, a fire alarm rang out in the Cannon office building. The building was evacuated. Representative Jamal Bowman, Democrat from New York, later owned up to it. He said, "I'm embarrassed to admit that I activated the fire alarm, mistakenly thinking it would open the door." That's what he said in a statement. He emphasized that he was not in any way trying to delay the vote, but that's exactly what he was doing by pulling the fire alarm. It's a misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor. Far left New York Democrat Communist Representative Jamal Bowman was charged with a misdemeanor Wednesday after he pulled the fire alarm last month to delay a House vote on the spending legislation to avoid a possible partial government shutdown. Congressman Bowman is 47 years old. He's now been booked and processed by the Capitol Police yesterday on the charge of raising a false fire alarm, which carries a maximum sentence of 6 months in prison and a fine of up to $1,000. Bowman had insisted that the September 30th mishap was an honest mistake caused by him trying to open a door to rush for a vote. He didn't get anywhere near the doors. The security footage shows him going over to the fire alarm and pulling it. And there were signs on how to open the doors. He did not have to pull the fire alarm to get the doors open. He didn't go anywhere near those doors. Surveillance images showed the alarms and the emergency exits were clearly marked and included detailed instructions on how to open the doors. Security footage cast doubt on Bowman's claim that the alarm was accidental. It showed him pushing a pair of exit doors, then pulling the fire alarm on the wall next to the doors. Bowman then walked away from the doors without looking back in them or at them, or even trying to push them open again. This might seem like the end of the matter. Bowman will get probation, and he will pay a fine. Congress can investigate further and determine if Bowman, if it chooses, to discipline him. But such one-off mischief in the halls of Congress might seem like a national issue. It is. This man should get expelled from Congress. Why is he not? Because the other people that have been accused of huge mischief, felony mischief, creating an insurrection, are not being dealt with. Thanks to the overzealous Justice Department, it could well become one sitting on the Supreme Court's docket. It is an important case about the meaning of a federal criminal statute that is ripe for partisan abuse. A criminal statute that's ripe with partisan criminal political abuse. Now, the criminal statute was passed after the Enron scandal in 2001 as part of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, The law, which appears in the Federal Criminal Code as Section 1512C, and provides up to 20 years in prison for altering or destroying documents or records to prevent their use in a government proceeding, which is exactly what this man did. It's exactly what this man did. He will get a hand slap and say, "Don't do it again. Don't do it again." This is what happens when we have a communist that goes about doing bad, not doing good. This is exactly what happens. Now, folks, Julie Healing Leaf is here in the chat. Did it say open door? He thought it was an automatic door sign. No. There were signs all over the walls explaining how those doors open. You don't have to pull a fire alarm to get them open. He pulled it to evacuate the building, to avoid a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives for a spending bill. That's why he did it. Julie says, how juvenile? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's insane. But this is what these communists get away with. Now, in closing tonight's program, I need every one of you to keep your heads on a swivel. Iran has declared war on the United States. Hezbollah has declared jihad on the United States. It's not just over in the Middle East. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, Lebanon, Turkey, Syria. Egypt not so much because it's allowing our citizens to leave Gaza. But even the Islamic people in Egypt don't like us. Folks, this is not good. Israel has rockets, ballistic missiles that can reach the shores of the United States now. If we even retaliate against Iran launching missiles against Israel or against us, it could pull Russia and China into the fray. China now has military cruisers there in the Mediterranean. Russia also has military cruisers in the Mediterranean. This is not good. Russia and China both have ships on both shores of the United States and off of England as well. English Air Force, British Air Force have been chasing bombers, Russian bombers, off their shores and been monitoring Russian submarines and China off the shores of England. We've also been there. We have an Air Force base in England as well. We have bombers, B-2 and B-52 bombers on call in the air right now. I have pictures of some bombers, a B-2 bomber over New York yesterday. It's the first B-2 bomber sighted over New York yesterday. Folks, they're all over. I've seen the reports of United States Air Force planes up and down the coast. We have a U.S. aircraft carrier off the east coast of the United States. I believe we have 2 U.S. aircraft carriers off the west coast, as well as all of the Navy ships supporting those carriers. We have a carrier over in the South China Sea with a full flotilla of U.S. support ships and support ships from all over the world protecting Taiwan. This weekend could be bad. Let's pray it's not. Let's pray it's not. This is beyond being funny. It's not funny at all. It's serious. We've never seen this in our history. Never in our history. Now, I have a video that was put up by another YouTube person. I want to play it for you. This is Ronald Reagan speaking.
You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. The ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. They want to make you and I believe that this is a contest between two men, that we're to choose just between two personalities. I believe that the issues confronting us cross party lines. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. No government ever voluntarily reduces itself in size. So government programs once launched never disappear. Actually, a government bureau is the nearest thing to eternal life we'll ever see on this earth. There should be no cause for worry, because as long as they had the power to tax, they could always take away from the people whatever they needed to bail them out of trouble. And they're doing just that. These proliferating bureaus with their thousands of regulations have cost us many of our constitutional safeguards. How many of us realize that today federal agents can invade a man's property without a warrant? They can impose a fine without a formal hearing, let alone a trial by jury, and they can seize and sell his property at auction to enforce the payment of that fine. What does it mean whether you hold the deed to or the title to your business or property if the government holds the power of life and death over that business or property? And such machinery already exists. The government can find some charge to bring against any concern it chooses to prosecute. Well, I, for one, resent it when a representative of the people refers to you and me, the free men and women of this country, as the masses. This is a term we haven't applied to ourselves in America. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. We have so many people who can't see a fat man standing beside a thin one without coming to the conclusion the fat man got that way by taking advantage of the thin one. But seriously, what are we doing to those we seek to help? In a program that takes from the needy and gives to the greedy, we've sought to solve the problems of unemployment through government planning, and the more the plans fail, the more the planners plan. Every responsible farmer and farm organization has repeatedly asked the government to free the farm economy. But who are farmers to know what's best for them? The wheat farmers voted against a wheat program. The government passed it anyway.
My opponent seems to only see big government and little people. Raise our taxes and then raise them again so that government can be even bigger. It would be like having a coach tell an Olympic swimmer that he had to swim down that pool carrying an anvil, or a runner to sprint with a ball and chain around his ankle. And that's not good enough for America. We want to create opportunities so that all Americans can go forward together with nobody left behind. We're going to build a future together that will enable every one of you to reach for the stars. And you'll know what it is to enter the workforce or go to college in a land of prosperity, pride, and hope, where our young men and women can dream great dreams and make them come true. But whatever you do with it, you'll be the one who's doing the doing. You'll make the decisions. You'll have the autonomy. When I was a young man, you knew that if you dreamed big and worked hard, there was no limit to how far you could go. You're free to be whatever you want to be with no one and nothing stopping you. In a free society, you're free to invent yourself, to turn yourself into a great teacher, a race car driver, a minister, or a movie star. or a grower and seller of flowers. You can be anything. It's your invention, and there's nothing to stop you. Enjoy your freedom. Breathe it in. Use it to create the most important and moving thing a man or woman can create, a decent and meaningful life. It's a philosophy you can live by. In fact, I hope you do. I can't resist telling you that in working my way through school, there were no government programs at that time. You had to get your loans from foundations, things, charitable groups and so forth. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. It was a job I had working my way through school. I was washing dishes in the girls' dormitory. But a big job awaits us to keep improving our schools, to lead the world toward new frontiers of science, technology, and space. But what's really important is what inspired us to do these things. What's really important is the philosophy that guided us. The whole thing can be boiled down to a few words: freedom, freedom, and more freedom. No force on earth can stop individuals from achieving great goals when they have the will and the heart to pull together and work together.
Okay? No force can stop us if we are determined to be the kind of America that we want to be. To be the kind of America that we want to be. That was Ronald Reagan. You heard it from him first. Folks, we have a lot of things going on. We had a lady here in our chat that I want to speak about what she said. Our military will take care of any external threat. I believe we will be okay. If not, we will fight and win. I choose peace over fighting, but if I must fight, I/we will win. I want to address that. I agree with her in a way. We must win, we must win, we must win. We must challenge the enemy. Our military is not what it used to be. The present administration has gutted the military. A lot of people here in the United States that belong to this country, that are citizens of this country, do not want to join our military because of the way our veterans have been treated. I don't blame them. But we need our military. This administration has also gutted our military hardware. We sent a great deal of our military hardware to Ukraine. And Ukraine put it up for bids on the black market. It ended up in Iran and given to Hezbollah and Hamas. Now our United States military is fighting against their own equipment, our own equipment. Mr. Biden and his administration also put billions of dollars in military hardware on the desert floor in Afghanistan and left it there. A few months ago, President Biden accidentally said that we don't have the ammunition anymore that we used to have. The ammunition he's talking about is artillery. Ammunition he's talking about is ammunition for our M16s, our machine guns, our 9mm, our 10mm, our 50 caliber guns on board ships. We don't have enough ammunition. Yes, we need to go into a wartime economy. Wartime economies are sometimes successful because we're building more and more ammunition to support our military. But right now our military doesn't have it. If by chance Iran is attacked by the United States after they attack us, Iran has to attack us first. Then the United States will open up and retaliate and reduce Iran to crumbling, burning cinders, turning it into a piece of glass. But in doing so, the United States could suffer heavy losses, with Russia backing Iran and attacking the United States on a global basis. We have enemies around us, all around us. This administration has also left our border open. Just 2 weeks ago, we arrested 170 terrorists that were on the terrorist watch list that came across our border to the south. Imagine the gotaways that are still here in the United States. We have sleeper cells from the terrorist groups here in the United States. I'm telling you guys, you need to be keeping your heads on a swivel. You never know when something will happen here on our soil. I have a bad feeling that war is about to happen on our own shores. And I believe it's going to happen. We need to keep our heads on a swivel. We need to keep our heads together. When everybody else is losing theirs, we need to keep our heads on a swivel and keep our brains where they should be. Focusing on the issues, focusing on protecting our families, and making sure we have the things we need to survive what is happening. Okay? Now, in closing, I want to end this program on a more positive note. First off, Lady Liberty here. There is room in America and brotherhood for all who will support our institutions and aid in our development. But those who come and disturb our peace and dethrone our laws are aliens and enemies forever. Let's remember that. This came from a print in 1886 that still stands true today. Think about that. Okay? Lastly, right here, I have borne my testimony to all of you in weeks, months, and years past. I have a strong testimony of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Your testimony itself in Jesus Christ isn't just what you say, it's who you are. Let it always be who you are. Let us stand as an example of what we believe in and who we believe in. Let us stand as an example of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now, there is a scripture, and there's many scriptures that pretty much say that. But there's a scripture in Romans chapter 1, verse 16. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. To everyone. It's the power of God unto salvation for everyone. Everyone, brothers and sisters, everyone. I bear you my testimony that I know that God lives. He hears and answers our prayers. Jesus Christ is his Son, who gave his life for us. Let's take advantage of the atonement. Let's make sure that we take advantage of the atonement of our Savior. Let's become better people. Let's stand up for what is right. Let's do what is right. Let's help each other. Let's make us who we want to be. Better people. Better people. Better citizens in our communities. And let's make sure that we help each other. Let's make sure we check each other's back. Let's be true citizens of Christ's gospel. That's truly what we are. That's truly what we are. May God bless you now, brothers and sisters. May God bless you to be just that. I spoke quite harshly about people that have not done good. I've spoken quite harshly about people that continue to degrade our country, about people that attack what we believe in. The United States of America and even Britain are examples of Judeo-Christian belief. This country of the United States and even Britain were established for citizens of God's kingdom. The other countries go in tandem with what we believe, and they're trying and focusing themselves on what they need to do. But many of them are suppressed by their governments. Let's us stand up for truth and righteousness. Let's be the city on the hill that can't be hid. Ronald Reagan also spoke about that. Folks, I love you. As we go into this weekend, behave, take care of yourselves. Make sure you get the supplies you need for an emergency that is very likely to happen very soon everywhere where you live. Not just here in the United States, but everywhere. Make sure you're ready. 2 earthquakes hit. One in Nepal, already killing 69 people. A larger earthquake hit in Greece. I don't have all the information about that yet. But obviously, large earthquakes hurt people. Greece is not the country that it could be. A lot of places have more modern housing. In many places in Greece, they do not. God bless them. God bless each one of us, that we can provide each other comfort. We can provide each other help to do the things that we need to do. God bless us in all of our efforts. Remember, on Sunday, we're taking tomorrow off unless something big happens, in which case we'll come on the air anyway. We take usually Saturdays off. I will be back on the air on Sunday to teach a Sunday school class called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. We're teaching the New Testament. In about 2 weeks, we're going to go into Revelations and talk about Revelations as well. Please join us on Sunday for Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, sometime after 12 noon on Sunday on the Eastern Time Zone. Also be advised, Saturday into Sunday here in the United States, we're changing our clocks back. Changing them back. Okay? Daylight savings time isn't what it's going to be. We're going to be back on standard time. Okay? Going to be back on standard time. Changing our clocks back 1 hour. So make sure you do that tomorrow night, Saturday night, at midnight, or by the time you get into bed. Make sure you turn all your clocks back 1 hour. May God bless you and keep you. I want to thank all of our mods that have been here with us today. You guys help us keep our program together. I want to thank all of our EMA people that have been here, all of our family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting your families, your neighbors and friends here, as well as the people you work with and you have contact with on social media. Thank you for taking the care and knowing what we're saying is true and sharing it with everybody, inviting everybody to be part of the EMA family. Let's grow this family now, guys. God bless you. May God be with you. May God protect you in everything you do. Again, I know that the Savior lives. He died for each one of us. Let's take advantage of that atonement and be the kind of citizens in God's service that we can be. God bless you. God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, folks. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.